Hey guys, Coupon to Provide here, and today I'm coming at you with a no-sew denim planner cover and pouch DIY using very affordable products. Of course, the end result was super adorable, and it is springtime, so we're all doing spring cleaning, and the hubby actually tossed out some of his denim jeans that I'm going to be using in this tutorial. If you don't have any jeans that you're getting rid of or that your partner is getting rid of, feel free to check the thrift stores because they have a ton of varieties for super cheap. So per usual, we're going to be using the Dollar Tree chopping mats to cut the slits for our planner where the discs are going to go. You're going to take a piece that's about 1.5 inches by 7.5 inches wide, and we're going to cut it. You're simply going to put your ruler down firmly on the plastic, hold it very firmly, and cut lightly along the ruler edge to provide your cut line. Once you have cut your plastic, go ahead and take your original planner cover and simply trace the holes where you're going to be punching with your dollar store punch. After you have completely punched your plastic, we're going to go ahead and apply some double-sided tape on the opposite side. The reason we're doing this is so that it stays in place when we put it into its new spot, because it avoids a lot of shifting and making messes of what we've already accomplished. So now that we have our tape put down, I actually take time like this to pre-cut a lot of pieces since I'm always creating covers. Don't forget to cut the slits for your disc in the center of each hole. Now we're going to go ahead and take our denim jeans. Now these are a thin denim and some scrap poster board. The poster board is what's going to be the hard backing for your cover. Take your ruler and measure about 5.5 by 8 inches. That's roughly the good size to cover all the pages in the planner. Of course, if you want it more wide, more long, whatever, it's totally up to you. You can adjust the measurements however you see fit. I chose to go with that because it gives me a little leeway to make straight line modifications. So once you have cleaned up your edges on your poster board, you're using 2 pieces, one for the front cover, one for the back cover. You need to cut pieces of fabric to make sure that you have enough to cover that cardboard front and back, and giving you about 1 inch of extra fabric over each side. The inch of extra fabric is going to fold over the covers and actually give you a nice closed, clean line look. Also, you want to make sure that you cut off all of the bulky edges and ends. You don't need any of that. Now, to hold our cardboard in place as we build our cover, you're going to take some double-sided tape and peel it off and sit it in place. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want any shifting and I don't want lifting of the fabric as I use it. That's just going to cause wear or unnecessary wear and tear. Now remember to give yourself about 1 inch on each side because you're going to need to make sure that those sides fold in nice and clean over all the edges and corners. So I'm doing the same thing to the other side because we're going to need it to hold the other side of fabric in place as well. Of course, as I always mention, I am using the Basic brand tape, B-A-Z-I-C. It's my favorite brand adhesive tape. Now, what we're going to do is begin covering our sides. All I do is lift the poster board and let it fold itself to make sure that it's nice and even. Then we're going to take the excess fabric and fold it over the front, trying to create clean edges that are even with the opposite side. Then we're going to take the excess fabric on left and right side because the top and bottom are shorter. That's the top and bottom of the planner. We're going to take the left and right side and begin trimming that down after we have our top and bottom straight. So what you're doing is cutting the excess fabric from one side. This is going to be where the plastic sheet is actually inserted to attach your planner. What we're going to do now is you can see what I'm going for here. The reason I left the flap on the other side is because that's actually going to be what folds into this piece and give us a nice clean look. So what I'm going to do is cut a line that will fit the plastic slip inside of it, but will also allow the denim to stay in place. So that is why it has to be a small strip like this, because the skinny strip is going to stick to the cardboard and we're going to insert the plastic sheet in between that cut. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. I'm going to take a little bit of extra tape to tape down those sides that insist on lifting and just tape that down because it's just going to be a headache if I don't. You could easily use a dab of hot glue. Don't get carried away because you never want to put too much adhesive until you are completely done building the project, and then you can go back and make sure things are more secure. As you can see, I am doing exactly what I said, adding a little tiny bit of hot glue to those pieces that wanted to lift. Now, the piece of fabric that is on the other end, we're going to cut rectangular strips that are going to fold over that thin blue cut. This is just going to give a nice sealed fold whenever we fold over the larger piece of fabric and not expose any of the white project board. So now I'm just going to clean up the edge of the excess fabric and add some double-sided tape. Using that double-sided tape, I'm going to kind of fold in the corners like you would a gift. This is just going to allow this strip to fit in easier in that lifted piece of fabric. See how it's providing a very clean line for us? Then we're going to make any modifications to our plastic strip and insert it into that cut. This is what's going to give us a nice, clean, thin line as opposed to bulky layers. Once I have the plastic slip in place, I can go ahead and stick it down and pull the fabric up past the actual adhesive tape to make sure that everything stays nice and in place. Then you can clean up that line by simply snipping off any frays, and then you're going to repeat the same exact steps for the opposite cover. Once that's done, we can go ahead and begin embellishing the inner cover or pretty much wherever you like. The hubby's jeans had these adorable cargo pockets. Now one was a little too large, so I did cut it down to fit the size of the planner. I'm actually going to be using this to store a lot of little extras like stickers and a pen and whatever else. Simply take your pocket and make sure that you only cut the pieces of fabric that allow you to still have a functional pocket. Cut outside of the thick seam. Once you have your edges all nice and clean, we can go ahead and begin adhering it to the cover. I wanted this one to be on the inside of the front cover, so all I'm going to do is take a couple of pieces of adhesive tape just to make sure that it stays in place as we're working on the actual pocket, and we're going to stick it down in place. Once you have it where you want it and you know that that's where it's going to be, go ahead and take your hot glue and begin cleanly adding the hot glue under the pocket. The reason I say cleanly is because it's very easy for the hot glue to spread and make a mess, as you can see there, but I got lucky because it was behind the front pocket. Anyway, be very careful. Make sure all your corners are down. Get as much of the edge as you can, because this will be holding product and you want to make sure that it's extra durable. Now, just for a cute little embellishment, I did take the brand from the jeans and decided to hot glue that on the pocket. I love this little extra touch, and it works really great as maybe a pen holder or anything like that. Next, we're going to go ahead and begin working on the Keep It Together band for the planner. I'm going to take some elastic band that I got for $2.77 at Walmart. It is a 4-pack of different patterns, and we're going to stick it in between the fabric pieces at the top on the back side of the planner. Now, the reason I do it on the back side of the planner is because I like for my band to fold over the front of the planner to keep it shut. You could easily do it on the front cover so that whenever you close it, it would be around the back of the planner. So it all depends on your preference. Simply take enough that's going to give you some give whenever you begin adding things into your planner. And once you have it in place, go ahead and take that hot glue and glue the fabric completely together. Feel free to add a generous amount starting low, and then you can move your way up to the very edge of the cover. The reason I say move your way up is so that the glue doesn't spill out over the exposed areas where you could see it, and then it will just look sloppy. Next, removing the front and back cover, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we secure those plastic strips. All you're going to do is take one last moment to make sure that they are nice and in place, and run some hot glue along the inside, and make sure when you push it down that it is exactly where you want it, because now you are not going to be able to open it again. So do that to both sides to make sure that both sides are nice and secure. The reason I say to do this is because if you don't and you put it on your planner, it will lift as your planner is shut, and that just makes it look all kinds of wonky and ugly. So we don't want that. We want nice, firm, durable covers. Really quick, as I clean up the little pieces, I thought I would let you guys know that the size of jeans that I was actually using was a wide leg 36 in men's. I feel like that's pretty important because those legs alone can have the perfect size for the planner to not have to make too many modifications with your cuts. Now go ahead and take this time to hot glue both covers shut completely, just like we did the back cover. Make sure that all of it is nice and adhered all the way up to the edge. Work your way from kind of deep in the cover and squeeze up to get all the way to the edges of the covers. I really love this, guys, and I really did try to focus on minimal supplies and minimal bulkiness. When I posted my prototype to Instagram, the one problem that I got from somebody was they said that they had issues with bulkiness. So that, of course, inspired me to make sure that I had the thinnest version of this that I could possibly come up with, and I think I did a fairly good job, and it's very durable as well. You can see here that all the edges are nice and clean. The corners are not super bulky like my prototype. My prototype was just a visual for the idea, and I think it just turned out very well. So now we're going to go ahead and start on the pouch. All you're going to do is take the bottom of one of the legs and cut it down to a pouch size. There is no specific size for this, guys. It's pretty much just the method that you're going to be looking at. All I did was trim off the bottom cuff of the leg, and I am turning it inside out. I'm going to take my hot glue and run it along the edge of the ruler between the two pieces of fabric. This is going to give me a closed bottom. Super simple, and this works with pretty much anything you want to make. As you can see, I can turn it right side out, and it's very obvious that it's going to be a pouch. Next, all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back inside out after cutting off one of the cuffs, and I'm going to cut off that super bulky edging because it was a little too long as a pouch, and I wanted it to be a little bit smaller, almost the size of the planner, so that it would sit comfortably with the planner. I'm going to do the same thing with both of the left and right sides. Take the ruler, put the hot glue gun tip in between the fabrics while it is inside out, and this is going to allow us to flip it the right way and give us the pouch form. How easy was that? Super easy. Okay, so next we are going to take our hot glue and kind of glue in the corners of that excess cuff. The reason we want to do that is also to add just the illusion of a, I don't know, a more detailed cuff. I'm going to take some Velcro, and actually, guys, I found that Walmart has a fairly large strip of good quality Velcro for 88 cents, so you might want to check it out in their fabric aisle. All I did was put hot glue on the Velcro and stick it down, and I always put it down the center so that I could peel back the fabric and add hot glue that way, because it always used to like spill over for me, and this is the best way that I learned to reduce that mess. Alright guys, so quick tip for those of you that are old enough to use a lighter or ask an adult, if you have a very fluffy Velcro and you don't want it to be so fluffy, grab a lighter and run it lightly over that fluff and it will actually kind of burn it a little bit to make it a harder plastic, which is a lot better for the Velcro and it doesn't make as much mess. Next, we're simply going to dress up our pouch. Now, I actually have this bow that came off of a pair of flats years ago, and I've been dying to use it. So I think it's gonna be gorgeous on this little pouch. I'm simply gonna take some hot glue, glue it into the center, and call it a day. Now, to clean up this edge that is on the front of the pouch, I'm gonna take some double-sided tape and stick it right along the edge of that frayed fabric. All I'm going to do is take off the piece of paper and fold the fabric onto itself to give us a nice clean edge. Super simple, no sewing necessary, and it completely and totally worked. And that is pretty much it for this project, guys. Now, this actually works for so many different types of materials. It doesn't have to be just a fabric. I use this method in a lot of my tutorials and I've made a lot of mistakes to kind of perfect it. So now it is super simple, and that's kind of why I like to show you guys these things in videos, because as you create these projects, it becomes more and more easy to do. And before you know it, you're just throwing out covers left and right, no problem, just to kind of go along with the season or with your style. If you enjoyed this, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel because I have more denim tutorials coming out that are also no-sew. Also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button to let me know you enjoyed. Comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Google+, and my Facebook group at Coupon to Provide. And don't forget, guys, keep couponing. Bye!